the society members, they're all made up of different people, which is good because they all came together. But they were concerned with the discrimination in America and the freedom that they'd gained. Would they actually enjoy that freedom?
What are the other aspects of the reconstruction of the South? What to do with all the freed slaves? I mean, suddenly there's millions of free people. The war might be over, but the discrimination hasn't stopped. Sending them back to Africa was too complicated, not viable, plus many of them wanted to stay here.
Well, the Negro might have the right to vote in some places, but if they've been beaten to death, that's not going to help. They can't vote from the grave.
Well, that's why we have the Enforcement Act from the 1870s still on the books in the USA. I mean, thankfully that hasn't been struck down.
Even if the right's enforced, I mean, what good is that if they can't afford it?
Huh? Okay, I have a modest proposal on how to end poverty. Right? I think that poor people should sell their children to rich people so the rich people can eat them. Just put them in a pot, add some garlic.
That is disgusting.
Well, you can add salt.
If you're serious, that is the most outrageous thing I have ever heard. You should be locked up for believing something like that.
I find it interesting that we ignore millions of children starving in poverty every day, but as soon as we mention them putting them in a pot, people get outraged.
Yeah, well, you can get off your moral high horse now, unless you've already eaten it. I mean, you just proposed selling children to be eaten. Yeah.
Well, look, the kid's not going to have a very good life living in poverty, right? And the poor parents, well, they're going to make some money, and the rich get fed. So actually, you're wrong. It's a really good idea.
I am not going to be lectured by someone who just said that poor people should sell their children so rich people can eat them.
Okay, well, how about being lectured by God?
Okay. Oh, so you're God now, eh? Yeah, go. Huh. Have you never read the book, The Modest Proposal? Huh? He's not proposing selling children to rich people to eat it. He's talking about the book. But we're still left with how to actually end poverty.
It's always robots.
Robots.
Yeah, well, science fiction writers are always telling us about the time that we'll have robots to do those mundane jobs. Everybody wins. The rich people get their butlers and the poor people don't have to do those kind of jobs.
Yeah, but sir, how does that help the poor people? They'll be unemployed.
All right, so robotics isn't the answer. So how do we solve the problem of poverty? I mean, the poorhouses we set up at the moment don't seem to be doing much.
Yeah. We'll have to probably pass another amendment that's going to free robots from slavery.
Okay, that provides a safety net. But remembering the amount of arguing that went on about the cost of the Civil War pensions, I can't imagine them agreeing to pay other people more.
He made some miscalculations, and to save the ship, they decided to throw the cargo overboard, including 100 slaves, which they viewed as nothing more than cargo. In fact, they even tried to claim insurance on the slaves, citing that, I mean, they were just nothing more than cargo. Now the owners, but they should have been arrested, but it went to trial because, well, the insurance companies just refused to pay out. Yeah? You remember the quote from Lincoln? Whenever I hear anyone argue for slavery, I feel a strong impulse to see it tried on him personally. Now maybe we should get those supporters of sweatshops and we should get them to work in them, huh?
Besides, the argument that it's better than death, better than the alternative, just doesn't stand up. I mean, lots of things are better. Child prostitution could be better than starving to death in the street. Getting kids to run drugs or commit burglaries is better than the alternative. It's better than starving.
Well, I'm not saying close sweatshops down. I'm just saying get better paying conditions for them.
Then the companies would have to do that, or they wouldn't be able to sell their products. About 6 million people a year visit this memorial. Is 6 million people enough to make a difference to modern day slavery? Perhaps. Poverty is, of course, the underlying cause of a lot of problems out there in the world, including much of the modern day slavery.
This is a way to keep mosquitoes away.
Yeah, I got confused.
Now Tony can't do that because he's not wearing a skirt, but he'll try.
Ryan, Dina, sorry.